in Nigeria and were listed on the stock exchange. ASO formally commenced business in January 1997 and converted to a PLC, a public limited liability company, in 2005. We transited from a majority government-owned company to a majority private-owned company in 2007 and have over 3,000 shareholders. We are Nigeria's premier mortgage bank. Prior to our establishment, the mortgage industry was basically moribund in Nigeria. People did not know about mortgages, people could not fund housing. The mortgage business in Nigeria is actually a $40 trillion business. Yes, it is. 80% of Nigerians don't own their own home. Now the government wants to fuel money into that industry, to that part of the economy. So ASO, obviously, we are poised to take a chunk of that. That's about ASO. Our vision is to be the mortgage bank of choice. They are over right now, because the government is pushing a lot of money into the development of that sector. A lot of competition are coming. There are over 90 different mortgage banks in Nigeria. However, at least 40-45% of the market share belongs to ASO. Our mission is to build mutually beneficial relationship anchored on a passion for excellence. In our mission, you can see that customer service or service strategy is key to what we do if we're going to achieve this. Now, achievements. A lot of people went to the achievements at the end. These are achievements not just in customer service, but as an organization. Over 300 billion, sorry, it's in Naira. Over 30 billion Naira in mortgage originations, and over 12,000 new homeowners. Note that I said that over 80% of them, sorry,
can you translate that into dollars for us?
Divide by 160.
160.
Sorry,
Yes,
160.
160
Sorry.
Yeah.
million? Or?
No, 160, just 160. Divide by 160. Sorry about that. I said that over 80% of Nigerians don't own their own homes. We've created mortgages for 12,000 people. 88% in the federal capital, 88% of the homes in the federal capital, residential mortgages created by ASO, funded and developed affordable housing estates in over 5 major metropolitan cities in Nigeria. Now, before the service culture plan, this is the picture you saw. The queue ropes, the flowers, the air conditioners, but still we had all these things. Obviously, there was a problem with speed. Obviously, there was a problem with articulating the customer experience to our staff. But obviously, if you have staff who understand service, they will allow this to happen. If we as an organization were able to articulate what the customer really wanted, this kind of thing would not have happened. So this was where we were before. Very long customer queues, very upset customers, very slow service, very little, if any, interbank synergy, staff apathy, a lot of errors, and very bad customer experience. And when the customers were waiting in line, they were talking amongst themselves about bad service, bad experiences, perceived wrongs, errors, and there were never ever good stories. So ASO had a reputation, bad service. Yeah? Moment of truth came when someone walked into our office. I was now working there, and the person said, "Hey, this is my card. We've had 5 days of public holidays, and not once was I able to get cash using my ASO card. Might as well cut it off." And the person insisted in front of me, "Cut this card off. I'm not going to use it." That was moment of truth for me. These are direct quotes from customers. Staff told the customer, "I'm going for lunch, please wait." 40 minutes later, came back. "Sorry, there's nothing I can do for you." Someone in the waiting room, over 2 hours. Nobody bothered to check. "Why are you still waiting? What's happening?" The person was sitting down there waiting for someone to come back and say, "Oh, sorry, your request is being attended to," or "the person you want to see is not there." These are direct quotes from customers. when we're booking loans, we're giving mortgages, we didn't tell the customers the whole truth. We didn't tell customers that they'll need to pay insurance on their loans. And after the customer has signed the dotted line and they move into their homes, then you go and say, oh, you need to pay insurance. And the customer did not factor that into the payments. Obviously, a bad experience. How would you feel if after you sign a mortgage, someone comes in 6 months down the line and says, oh, this is your insurance bill, 150,000. Yeah? Horrible. Staff not being knowledgeable about the processes. The officer said that this is a direct from a customer. The officer said that she was not sure when my original title documents will be ready, and that I should just keep checking. Just keep coming to the bank. We're not sure. We don't know. Just keep coming. Maybe one day. Come next time. Okay, you have documents ready for you. I kid you not. These are true people. Not hearsay. People told me directly. The last one just broke my heart. By road, the federal capital, Abuja, is about 8-9 hours by road from this city, Enugu, right? This customer came from Enugu to open her account in Abuja. She came to Abuja from Enugu and said, I tried using my card in Enugu and my card was debited, but I didn't get any cash. So I phoned your staff, and your staff told me, you need to come to the head office in Abuja to resolve this. So here I am. I took a bus. Can you give me my money now? That's heartbreaking. For 30,000 naira, divide that by 160. That's what woman came for. Very heartbreaking. And our customers were not the only ones suffering. Our staff were bewildered, which I don't really know. I don't have the tools to do this job, so I can't do it. Oh, you have a complaint? Oh, go see the customer service person. I can't do anything for you. And this is my favorite. Well, that's not part of my job description. And I don't really care what the customer says, as long as I get paid. Someone actually said, the market salesperson says, oh well, my KPIs, my performance is just my financial target, it's not customer related. So both on the customer side and on the staff side, it was hell on earth. Now, we decided, okay, should we work with John Shaw? Should we do this customer service thing? Will it work? These are some of the challenges we had to overcome. We had square pegs in round holes, just like we did. We had staff with interesting credentials. We had staff that just would not change. We had staff that did not have a clue. And to get any traction in terms of service, we must all speak the same language. We must all adhere to the same ethos. So that was one of the challenges we had. Because if you remember that video, if the branch manager or the store manager understood the customer is first, that wouldn't happen. Now, your tolerance level as an individual matters a lot. So square pegs in round holes. We had to ask ourselves, and I'm sure I remember asking Micah, this customer service thing, is it innate or is it something you teach? Are people born with it? It was a big argument in my office. So no, if you either have it or you don't, let's hire people who are customer-centric. But do you just teach people who have a good base? So that was something we had to ask ourselves. Culture. Nigerian culture. We are a nation of extremes. It's a funny story where they say when you push a Nigerian and you push the Nigerian to the wall and his back is up against the wall, the Nigerian will break the wall behind him and keep moving back. Yeah. Management buy-in. I think this was the singular most difficult thing to get because of the next one. Management wanted to see in Naira and Kobo what the value would be. That's very difficult. Same as you had, your marketing team says it's their efforts that have pushed sales up. We had to say, okay, if you do this, this is going to be sales, this is going to be a new account opened. But then, we're spending money, tangible money, and we're telling them that your customers will feel happy, your customers will do more business with you. They're like, no, tell me that my profit after tax will be $1 billion or 1 billion naira. That's a challenge for us. That was a challenge for us. My boss, my direct boss, had called Micah a lot of times. He's called John. He wanted results, and he wanted results tomorrow. We had to articulate very clearly that this is not a quick fix. It's not a magic bullet. It's not a miracle cure. It's something that you work with, you tweak, you move forward some more, you change some things, you even allow yourself to make some mistakes. Then you go back, acknowledge those mistakes, and fix it up all over again. My boss wanted quick fixes. It's not possible. It was a big challenge. Commitment as well. In Tanzania, you guys had people volunteer to be facilitators. We handpicked people who were enthusiastic. We handpicked people who had a flair, who understood, who had some understanding of the values we wanted to propagate. Now, it's one thing to pick someone, because we basically had the same facilitators for each program. It's one thing to have someone to pick the person, nominate the person, and have that person be committed to that thing and committed to doing the work involved. Outside of your normal work, you're not getting paid for 3 years. It was a big issue for us. Another thing for us is every year we rotate our staff. So when someone, for example, in branch operations, the teller, has been the facilitator this year going forward, and next year that teller is now moved to marketing department. So that was something we needed to balance. So what we did with that is we have a trainer and a spare for each location. So no matter what happens, even if the person goes on leave or leaves the band. Then the market as well. ASO really is the most important mortgage bank in Nigeria. Yeah? How does the market react? Because when you can see from that first video, we still had customers. But how will the market react when we change our service strategy? That was a challenge for us. Would the market still come to us? Even we're the best. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We're still the best. The other people who probably can't afford to give you the mortgage. The competition probably had the same problem with us. We were well known, we had bigger branches, we had more branches. So for management, we were like, okay, well, the market still wants us. So it was a challenge. Since the market still wants us, how do we say, use that as a valid idea to tell management that, see, we need the service culture plan? I don't know if you understand. Do you understand what I'm saying? Time. For 23 branches, we have 500 staff, thereabouts. And a lot of these staff are doing, one staff is probably doing what 3 people ought to do. So they are overworked. Do they have time to commit to this? Do I have time to commit to this? Does my boss have time to commit to this? It was a big challenge. This was another major thing for us. After the first year, my boss was calling Micah and saying, okay, all of the things you promised, where are they? After this 3rd month, Micah, I don't feel this thing. I don't feel this thing. And he'll put a lot of pressure on me And I'll call Micah, I'll say, what do I say? What do I say? When we started, we started with customer surveys. Our customer satisfaction levels were less than 50%, but 40, 30%. And the next year we did customer surveys, and the jump, my boss wanted 90%. And we're doing just a few points ahead. And he was asking me, so are we wasting money? We don't have the money to waste. What's happening? And there was a lot of pressure. I'm sure John will tell you about how many times Shehu called, and Shehu would say, okay, we're not sure if we're renewing for the next year. Sustaining management commitment. What we did. As a fallout of all of the interventions, I don't like to call them trainings or interventions we rolled out, the strategy we implemented in the bank. One of the first things, the major thing, is we gave our staff a desire for personal development. One of the things we did was, in their balance scorecard, we tied personal development to their performance, to their promotion, to their bonuses. If you engage in personal development schemes, for those people who were not as educated, we told them, oh, you have a diploma, go get another certification, do something else. When you do it, the money you spend doing it, the bank will pay you back. So we've actually seen those of our staff. Remember I said square pegs and round holes? Square pegs and round holes. We've actually seen a lot of our staff get more educated, get more mature. Because as a bank now, our policy is that personal professional development is key. Consistency in service delivery. We want you to go into a branch in Kano State. The experience you get there, we want you to go to Lagos State and get the same experience there. So what we do is we bring the store managers or the branch managers and the heads of operations together and tell them, okay, when the customer comes, this is a standard, just like we have a service charter, we also have a service charter. When the customer comes into the bank to withdraw some money, this is the standard waiting time. Do you agree? Yes, we agree. We sign off. When the customer wants so and so service, you sign off. So we have consistency bank-wide in the kind of service. So irrespective of which branch you enter, the experience is the same. Manage customer expectation. Again, the service charter. We told our customers with the service charter that we published. When you go to an ASO branch, you go by 8 in the morning, the branch will open for business. The staff will say hello to you and welcome you by name. Every staff, when they come in, you will see their ID card. We realized that staff would put their ID cards, hinge it to their pockets, hinge it in their waistband, under their jackets. So we said, you must always put your ID card by your lapel top. So even if you're sitting down, when a customer sees you, they see the ID. And just like Larissa's name is there, clearly, the name is there, Liz. So when you don't have a situation of when you have a complaint about a customer, you say, the person was at this desk. Then the person sat down there. You know who you're dealing with. So we manage our customers' expectations with those things we put in the service charter. When you send an email, you get an auto response within 15 minutes. Yes, it's automated, so you can say 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, you get an automated response acknowledging the email that you've sent. Things like that. Another thing we did, and I think we've gotten a lot of traction with is alternative service routes. Because ASO was a government bank, a lot of our customers were government-type customers. Yeah? So we'll have customers coming to the bank wanting to withdraw money, but before they go to the counter, they will first of all crowd the customer service desk and say, I want to know my balance. okay, do I have enough money? So it became like a clog in the wheel. So what we said is that, okay, we give customers cards. I want my balance. Check. ATM, we created an IT system where if you just send a particular code unique to yourself, you get a text back with your balance. So that's the simplest form of our alternative service routes. If you want to cash money, your ATM card, use your ATM card. Mobile banking. We're actually the only mortgage bank in Nigeria that does cards, mobile banking, and internet banking, because we want to decongest our banking halls. One of the things about ASO is we don't own our own space. Unlike other banks in Nigeria that own, the building belongs to the bank so they can expand and do whatever they want to do, we rent space. So our banking halls are quite small. So we're trying to decongest the banking halls. So these alternative service routes are very, very important. So we have now customers getting more comfortable using this route. However, that came up with another problem. The service routes were not reliable. You go to an ATM today, it works. The next day you go there, it doesn't work. So, remember, John, you said, keep your hand on the horse. Keep your hand. So we went out telling everybody, keep your hand on the horse. Keep your hand on the horse. You need to manage those service routes. Make sure the ATM machine has cash. We tracked our customer patterns. We realized that between the 18th, when salaries start coming in, customer traffic spikes. We make sure we have enough tellers in the banking hall for that spike. We put double amount of money in our ATM machines. You guys are so good. They created a system where if you go to the IT office, on the wall, it's a dashboard that tells you which ATM is down, which ATM is about to go out of money. Internet banking is working and everything. So we keep our hands on the horse by doing that. These are all the strategies that we came up with. Product offering. Like I said, increased choice and simplicity. The same thing about giving them options, giving our customers options. We listen to our customers more. We found out that our customers were coming to us for mortgages, right? And once they paid off their mortgages, they went to another bank. So we came up with other products. For example, credit, simple consumer credit. Came up with children accounts, just to increase our pocket share of a particular customer. Pricing and speed in service. You said something about it will be expensive to pull out your customer contact desk, sorry, your customer call center, to create a customer call center.
Sure.
And you may not have the customer call center 24/7.
Sure.
Yeah? We actually don't call ours a customer call center. It's a customer contact desk, because it is not a call center. Yes, you do call in, but it's not 24 hours. It's within our business hours. You call in, you email, there's no chat, and they have a CRM that we work with. So customers, for example, that live in one city and go to another city and are stuck, have somewhere they can call. We created something called a customer direct card. So every way you can contact ASO is on that card. For example, phone numbers, there are 4 phone numbers there. They're not toll free. Email and addresses, or rather, states addresses, yes. ASO is not in every bank, every state in Nigeria. Nigeria has 37 states, 36 states with 1 federal capital. ASO has 23 branches. 15 of those branches are in 1 state. So we have a problem, and we're trying to grow our business. This is from feedback from customers. So what we did, remember when I talked about the problems when you saw customers with long queues? I said no interbank strategy, so synergy. So we came up and said, okay, we went to banks that had branches in all the states. So now, I won't go into the technicality of it, but now our customers can walk into another bank that we have an agreement with, as if they are customers of that particular bank, walk up to the tellers, give them their ASO check or card or whatever, and withdraw money. So it doesn't have to be the ATM always. If you go to a place where there's no ASO, you walk into a UBA, for example, and get money. That's
You guys pay a commission probably for that, or what?
yes. It's very little. It's 0.05 for every transaction. No, 0.05 total quarter of transaction quarter.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the ways we solved that was that we're giving them traffic. So some of the most obscure places in Nigeria, ASO customers can get their money.
I hope it's not a long-term strategy.
Sorry?
I'm saying I hope it's not a long-term strategy.
It is.
To get them service via another service provider.
It is. It is. Because we are not a commercial bank. It's very easy in all of the things we are doing, to forget that we are primarily a mortgage bank. Because right now, we're actually, there are a lot of Nigerians all over the world, and Nigerians want to build homes or buy homes in their home country. Now, how can we want to reach out to those Nigerians in Kazakhstan, so in America, in UK? Yeah? We can't open branches there. So the correspondent banking relationship is key to what we do.
No, I was talking about
But within Nigeria,
Nigeria.
we think it's the same difference. We think it's the same thing. We don't have the average amount of money to open one branch is 100 million naira. And that does not include staff costs.
So what if UBA can't get into mortgages? Or
Sorry?
UBA.
The way the Nigerian business is structured, the central bank is really regulated. What did we do? We had Hassan, Hassan, my MD, is the one in red, with John. Then the other guy there, it's the pointer. How do you point? This is my MD. This is my boss, my executive director, who was meant to be here, could not be here. We actually had a seminar with John, and that's John talking with them. These people are just part of the senior management team. They're part of the committee that John met with. Then this is Micah. These are trainers. This was at the Lead and Empower teams. This was Lead and Empower teams. This is our journey in pictures, just to show that yes, we are doing these things. This is our training hall. How do we measure results? We've talked about tangible cost versus intangible return on investment. Yeah? These are the things I submit to my boss on both quarterly and annual basis. Through our customer contact desk, we find out, we get leads from customers. It's customer will call, say, oh, I saw your advert in so and so place, I want to know about this. Or I have a friend, it happens, I have a friend who wants to open an account with you, can you get someone to call him? We track all of those. So what we do is we track sales through customer referrals. Market share. We work with the marketing department to measure the growth in our market share. I don't do that alone, I do that with the marketing department. Customer defection. Every quarter, more or less, every quarter we submit a report, but every week I look at the number of customers whose accounts have gone dormant and customers who have closed their accounts. And we track that. It's more complicated than that. Customer complaints. We have a system where every staff can impute a customer complaint. Because we had a problem in the past where you complain about something and then 6 months down the line, you're still waiting for a response or an acknowledgement. And when you come to the bank will say, there's no record of your complaint. So we're very big on capturing complaints. One of the ways we enforced the customer complaint tracking was that for the customer service representatives, they had a target number of complaints they had to track, they had to capture for each month. So it took us about a year to get that as a habit. So now they are doing it by rote and it's helpful. Every year we do.
Sorry. So the customer complaint, the record is recorded by the customer service people?
Yes. Yes. Initially we had forms, then the forms would get missing. So we now have an online system where everything is tracked. So I can actually look at the customer complaint forms and find out the areas that we have problems, that we need to work on, that we have bottlenecks. For example, if in all of the customer complaints for this month, 20% of the complaints come from ATM cards, I know there's a problem there. 15% is ambience. Some 5% is staff attitude. So I kind of know where we have problems, that we can work on them.
How do you encourage your branch managers, for example, to start collecting actual complaints?
What we did was with in their balance scorecards for the whole of last year, in their balance it's no longer there this year because they've gotten to the habit. In their balance scorecards, they had to, each person had to submit a specific number of complaints to get that point.
Liz, you have customer defections here. Have you converted it so you know exactly what the defection rate reduction is?
Defection rate reduction, no.
You know what your defection rate is?
Yes.
Okay, so you probably knew your defection rate before you started the 3-year plan.
Before you go there, the reason behind the defection is really what I want to know.
I understand. I'm not interested in that. Here's in order to get Hassan and Mohammed even more excited,
Okay.
you need to take all this here stuff and convert it into dollar signs and money. So if your defection rate was 6% before you started, and today it's 4%, that's irrelevant. Now, what's the 2%? What is the dollar savings? So each defection, is it $800? Is it $18,000? What is the number? So if your defection rate was reduced by 2%, really from 6% to 4%, I'm just using some numbers, and it's 1,085 people, and the actual savings is $14,852 per person, you multiply that out, and that is the dollar amount. Then you take a look at the $43,000 you invested a year, and you say, here's the return on investment. Percentages are irrelevant. The numbers here are irrelevant. You got to put it into dollar signs.
Because when we look at the defection, we look at people who had an account, operated their account, and closed their account. Those who had an account, operated the account, and abandoned their account. Those who had an account had a loan, paid off the loan, and abandoned the account. So all of these things, because for example, if you had a customer who opened an account, then all of a sudden just abandoned the account. Maybe the customer has moved away.
But what I'm after is I need you to, and this is true of everybody in here, you need to put this into real dollar signs, because you're talking millions of dollars here. We're not talking hundreds of thousands. We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars. So just on the defection rate alone. And so if you're able to go back to Mohammed and Hassan and say, so far, you know, here we have saved $18 million, that's how you get the religion. To just say we reduce the defection rate is nice, but so what? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
It's true of everybody in this room.
And with a bank, it's a little bit more easier to tell.
Yeah, but not for retail.
It's-
I don't know, there's.
How we can
With retail, what you need to do is you need to benchmark the customer, the potential customer, how much you get from the customer for a whole year. That's the first thing you need to do to be able to get those dollar signs. How much the customer have given you in income and revenue to be able to get. If that customer leaves, this will be the cost. You understand? So it makes sense. It's a lot of work, but it's doable. It's doable.
Okay.
There's a soft, sorry.
No, sorry.
No, I was good. It's
Okay.
different.
About software, yeah.
Software. The software.
It's a back office software.
We do annual customer surveys. We just finished one in September, and the results from that was about 86% satisfaction. One of the things we do is we get the overall customer satisfaction, then we also pit branches against themselves for customer satisfaction, and we rank the branches. Now, if your branch has a 70% satisfaction, customer satisfaction, that means that everybody in that branch on their balance scorecard gets a 5. So it's in your interest to drive customer satisfaction so that when the survey comes in that cycle, you get a high score. Tardiness and absenteeism and grievances as well. We track those for staff and what's happening. That's my MD. These are our staff, and this is what they are saying. This is Paul. He said, the program has greatly impacted the way customers are treated in Buhari branch, and it's the top of the office. Israel is saying, speed is the best thing that's ever happened to ASO. Israel is a senior manager, is an area manager. Ngie is saying, ASO's ability to sustain the 3-year plan has truly given her a sustainable advantage over competition. And Gabriel is saying the aim was not defeated. Speed in my branch was interactive and logical, with everyone identifying areas to improve on, and they did. So, overall customer satisfaction is up to 86% from less than 50% in 2011. Average turnaround time for in-bank transactions is at par with best industry standards. That means that, for example, one of the standards is if you want to withdraw money, it's 8 minutes to withdraw cash over 100,000 naira. So our average turnaround time is at par with that 8 minutes. Average customer waiting time in branch is less than 10 minutes for routine transactions. Now, routine transactions is just inquiries, balances, and stuff like that. Breakdown of departmental silos. What I mean by silos is people protecting their own departments. The branch operation people, the marketing people, and they're all working away from each other and almost against each other. With the Youth Empower teams, where we brought all of them together, we were able to find out ways where their jobs overlapped. One of the things we did was to create an understanding that we all are dependent on each other. We have a slogan in ASO called domino effect. And basically, dominoes, when you click one, everything falls down. Just to create an image in everyone's mind. So someone could send an email saying, read domino effect, and you're sending it to another department, and everyone knows that, see, either your job is affecting my job and you are detrimental to my job. So those are buzzwords that we've come up with. Rolling back customer satisfaction by empowering ASO staff to make on-the-spot decisions to ease bottlenecks. For example, a customer comes in and says, oh, your ATM is not working. Your ATM, this is my card, your ATM is not working, and I don't have my checkbook here. Ideally, if you want a counter check, you pay a token amount. But it's not the customer's fault that you don't have, the ATM is not working and he doesn't have his checkbook on him. So we empowered our staff at that point, give them the checkbook, the counter check for free, and nobody will ask any questions. We have issues with mail, surface mail. We send out statements by post. We have customers coming to the bank saying, I've not received my statements in 6 months. And it costs ASO money to send out those statements. We can't say, well, you're lying, we sent it. We sent the statement to you, you've not gotten it, check your mail, you know. So what we do, we empower our staff, up to 2 months, free. Normally we charge each paper statements to discourage paper. We charge 500 naira, that's like $3, yeah, per page. So if your statement runs to 5 pages, you know what that will cost. So we tell our staff, hey, the customer says didn't get a statement. give it to them for free. No problem. Different things we've done. Account opening as well. If you request for an ATM card, it's supposed to be ready in 2 weeks. If it's not ready, we give it to you for free. So the person that made it not to be ready in 2 weeks is the person that's going to get in trouble.
20 minutes.
Sorry?
It's 20 minutes at Bank of America, or I mean at Metro Bank in London.
Uber. The way the supply chain for creating cards, there's only one company in Nigeria that creates cards.
Get your own equipment.
I'll pass the message across.
Tell Mohammed I want his own equipment. We want speed.
Okay. Brand new customer contact center. The customer contact desk, we have 4 people there who are there from 8 in the morning till 6 in the evening. And they're responding to emails, they're responding to phone calls, and they are collecting customer leads. They are tracking a lot of things. Innovation and creativity at an all-time high as a result of the Good Idea campaign. I think next to feelings, I think the Good Idea campaign, I think was just phenomenal. We collected over 300 good ideas that we're still struggling how to implement a lot of them. They're quite very good ideas. And I think, it wasn't the objective, but it's the outcome of the Good Idea campaign. Staff now know that you can come up with ideas. Unlike previously, when everybody would sit on their ideas and someone has an idea of how something can go better, yet they weren't using it. You know it would be better if we change the process, but everybody will sit down. Now people are coming up and saying, hey, why don't we do things like this? Last week, Saturday, I was teaching a class, just not service culture, but just a class, and someone said, hey, Liz, don't you think, to someone in another department, don't you think our customers will be happier if we do this, if we do that? In my other bank, this was this, this was that, this was that. And it was heartening to see that someone would come up and say, this is what I think to do better, that our customers will be happier. I think the Good Idea campaign is a fantastic idea. And one of the things we want to do is explore if we can make the Good Idea campaign perpetual, so that customer staff also gets rewarded for the ideas they come up with. Like I said, we split the things of management approved, things that management we can implement by ourselves. So we came up with something called an exceptions handling policy. So on the things that would empower our people about, we made it into policy. So we have an exception handling policy. When there's this exception, when you encounter this exception, this is what you do. So even if the people who came up with this policy and signed it into policy have left the bank, we've left that thing, and it's now become a culture in the organization. That's where you have the counter check. If the customer can't use ATM, the customer can't get money, you give them for free, stuff like that. Nigeria is very regulated in terms of banking services. So things for KYC, your account opening information. If a customer does not have all of the information at hand, do you tell the customer, okay, we'll come back where you have the information? No, you open the account for the customer and give a certain amount of time. So we give a window of 7-14 days, things like that. So the exception handling policy has really been valuable for us.